Welcome back to the channel. I did a video recently about getting started in the 1.0 update for veteran players, but wanted to go back and make a guide for those of you that are starting out new, never having played Coral Island. And as always, please do not forget to like and subscribe because you certainly don't want to miss out on any of this great farming sim content. Now, starting out, you won't have access to all the content such as mining and diving at the start of the game, which honestly is great because it allows you to slowly get used to the game. So with that, don't play at full game speed, which is on by default. I recommend actually going into your settings and reducing the game speed to 50%. You can always adjust this back to full speed later, but I really like this because it makes things much more relaxing and less stressful. Our next tip is always try your best not to go to bed without using whatever stamina you have left. If there's still a time in the day, you can always either be clearing your farm out, fishing, or even bug catching, which will help you make either a little bit of money or gain a little bit more XP. Now, speaking of XP, almost every action you do gains XP, from cutting down trees to even tilling your soil with your hoe. As you level up skills, you gain access to new items and equipment. Some of these items or equipment you should really try to unlock as quickly as possible. For example, reaching level 2 in farming unlocks the sprinkler, which can be crafted using kelp found while diving. Sprinklers will truly transform your farm for the good, so you want to be gunning for them as soon as possible. The best way to gain XP for farming is, believe it or not, by harvesting your crops. You get 25 XP for harvesting a new crop for the first time, and whatever that crop's base price times 0.1 is how much you get after each time. I recommend that you utilize potatoes since it's got a pretty decent base price at 75 each and is done in only 5 days. Now, you still want to plant at least one of the other crops though, because that 25 points for each new crop harvest. Now, once you unlock diving, definitely do not neglect going diving. Another great piece of equipment you'll want to unlock ASAP is the recycling machine, which is unlocked at level 2 of the diving skill. I usually have at least 2 recycling machines on my farm at a time, constantly pumping out scrap, because you'll use a lot of scrap in the game. Scrap is basically the upgraded version of trash and is used for a lot of things. Specifically to craft sprinklers, you need lots of scrap, so don't forget to feed your machines with trash to convert it to scrap. Now, early game, you may be tempted to use these standard 3x3 farms because I usually am as well, and for your first or second yield of crops, that still may be okay. I recommend though maybe after the first or second harvest to use that same 3x3 grid, but remove the center of the plot so that it's 8 crops instead of 9. And why, you may ask? Well, as you start unlocking sprinklers, you'll want to toss them in the center so you don't destroy any crops or have any super weird sprinkler layouts. Eventually, you'll be able to afford building a coop and a barn, and I highly recommend you do that as soon as possible. Now, while this is a farming sim, ranching is really where the money is at, which makes sense because buying animals is a lot more expensive than crops. Now, a couple rapid fire tips for animals: pet them daily, don't forget to open the barn doors via the bell next to the door to call them outside. Now, don't worry about closing the door, it'll auto close when you sleep. Always have grass planted outside for animals to feed on. If not, you'll have to put hay into their troughs. And finally, during the summer and winter seasons, you'll want to buy or craft a temperature machine, which will help improve your animals' moods. Now, every weekend you can buy items from Ben's Caravan, and the thing you'll want to get the most of will be the ordinary scarecrow, which has a much larger radius of protection against crows compared to the scrap scarecrow. And unfortunately, his stock updates weekly, so if you buy out his stock Saturday, you won't be able to buy more Sunday. But regardless, do not forget to visit Ben's Caravan every weekend. Now, don't go around gifting random town people random gifts because they will likely spit in your face. Well, not literally, but metaphorically speaking. Early game forageables are super easy to gift to increase relationship with the good folks of Coral Island. General rule of thumb though, do not gift people violets. No one in town loves or even likes them, so best case scenario, they say, meh, thanks. Worst case, you don't even want to know the worst case. Sort of the same with mushrooms. Most people are neutral aside from a handful who either like or love them. Your best bet though will either be tulips, daffodils, or mangosteens. Tulips and daffodils though are hated by a few villagers but are generally liked across the board. Mangosteen though is your best bet because everyone likes it. Now, once you gain access to the mines on day 5, you definitely do not want to neglect going to the mines. And the mines for the most part are pretty straightforward. The general idea is to break stones with your pickaxe to descend in the mines. You can also craft a rope, which can also be used to descend quickly, but I usually just prefer to just mine away because you can get valuable resources. Now, rope is unlocked at mining level 2 and crafted with 199 stone, which may seem expensive at first, but you'll quickly find yourself swimming in stone. Now, after collecting some fiber, you'll probably also collect at the same time random seeds. Do not use up all of your random seeds early in the year. It's best to at least save up some of them for winter. You can always find more, so if you have used them all up, I just recommend going digging up some clovers or cutting down some bushes to hopefully find some more. I won't spoil why to save them up, let's just say it has something to do with completing the offerings. If you want to know more, just ask me in the comments below or just look it up yourself. Now, don't feel like you have to upgrade your axe or pickaxe to remove stumps and boulders from your farm. You can actually use dynamite to clear these if you haven't upgraded your tools high enough. You can buy dynamite from the Band of Smiles for pretty cheap, along with other worthwhile items like rope, which we talked about earlier, among other types of weapons. Definitely do not neglect upgrading your home at the carpenter. Your first upgrade is pretty cheap and allows for you the ability to decorate the interior, but the second upgrade is when you unlock the kitchen. Now, the kitchen alone isn't useful because you have to buy utensils from socket and pan, which are kind of expensive. That said, usually once a week the store will actually run a 10% off sale on one of the items that you can get for a little bit cheaper, so you can at least wait for a deal to save some money. Now, cooking is not only great for stamina recovery and buffs, but is actually required for some offerings as well. Now, catching bugs and fish can be made a lot easier by upgrading your tools at the beach shack. Other than that, as you catch bugs and fish, you will level up and unlock skills that can be used to make things easier. Now, for bugs, I like to try and position myself in the path that they are traveling if possible. Now, you can hold down your net and sneak directly into them. With fish, it's always about patience. Every fish has a rhythm, so don't try and rush things and just follow their rhythm to catch some of these more difficult fish. Now, if a fish is just too hard to catch and is breaking your line, you'll probably just have to upgrade your rod and come back later. While in the mines, if you see cracks in the floor, do not forget to hit them with your pickaxe. These are a path to a vein of ore and will give you lots of ore when you find the main vein. Now, you absolutely do not want to neglect the seasonal crop offerings, because if you miss a crop, you will not be able to unlock the greenhouse and will have to wait till next year. Now, some of these crops require a bronze or higher tier crop. I try to always put fertilizer on the crop that requires a minimum of bronze quality harvest. Now, that said, as long as you're upgrading your lab upgrades, you should have no trouble getting bronze quality harvest even without fertilizer. You can even check to see when your crops are going to be done by holding down the right mouse button on PC. Sorry, console people, I don't know how to check that, but if anyone knows, please comment below so we can help each other out. But this is helpful because it'll tell you how much time you have left to harvest the crop, so you make sure that you don't miss a season. Don't manually harvest your crops by clicking on them individually. Use your scythe instead. It'll cost a bit of stamina, but will save you so much more time. Now, my final tip is do not donate or offer the first pink diamond you find. Everyone in town universally loves the pink diamond, so it is a great gift. Eventually, you'll unlock the slime of replication, which can actually duplicate gems, so you want to duplicate that pink diamond till the end of time. Now, hopefully these tips of what not to do will help you get started the right way in Coral Island, and as always, remember that the most important tip out of all of these is to have fun and don't stress yourself out trying to do everything the right way. Now, if you have anything you'd like to add, please drop it in the comment section below so we can all help each other out, and I'll see you next time, YouTube. Peace out.